Taoiseach, can I ask you if you will agree in relation to the alleged intention at the previous summit that there should be a break between the link between banking and sovereign debt? Do you agree that that can only have meaning for the Irish people if the 64 billion euro of taxpayers' funds that has been used to bail out the banks and the bondholders is in fact paid back to the Irish people? And do you agree that the European institutions and the International Monetary Fund that disgracefully were allowed to cow an Irish government to pay those gambling debts of speculators and bondholders, that those institutions should now take the hit along with the speculators whom they were protecting? And do you agree that if there is any meaning to this, and if it is not implemented in that way, the Irish people are in fact fully entitled to cancel the debt, which they have no responsibility for whatsoever? Now, will you agree with me, Taoiseach, that only that would give a meaning, any meaning, to the bone that Chancellor Merkel threw you there some time ago when you begged her to give you political cover by saying that Ireland was a special case? If you disagree with what I'm suggesting, can you outline very clearly what is meant by a special case in the sense of the real impact it would have on the lives of the Irish people? Or maybe the Chancellor was at a complete tangent and meant something else, that we were all great fiddlers and played the fiddle all day and danced to the walls of Limerick and the Siege of Ennis or something like that. Because it would seem that she is quite disconnected from the reality of the life and the suffering caused by the austerity, her austerity agenda to the Irish people. So, in conclusion then, Taoiseach, what did you yourself mean in June when you, along the same lines, referred to a seismic shift with regard to debt? As you know, an earth tremor or a tidal wave follows a seismic shift. We haven't seen any waves or tremors that put any different and better configuration on the huge debts, unsustainable debts, that the Irish people have been saddled with. So can you maybe try and elucidate today something practical with regard to these massive claims that you and the Taoiseach similarly have been making?
Thank you, Taoiseach. Thank you. In respect of Deputy Boyd Barrett's comments, I didn't actually say, if I can recall correctly, that Ireland was better off than Greece. I said that Ireland was in a very different place than Greece. I remind you that just last week Fitch's did increase the rating of the country. Bank of Ireland raised over $1 billion on the markets without guarantee. The ESB raised 500 million. Bord Gáis raised 500 million. Some of these were oversubscribed by over 12 times. The sale of the communications spectrum went for over 800 million to 3 major telecommunications companies. These of themselves aren't they're sorting out of the problem, but they are signs of confidence by international investors in our country here. And we need more of that, obviously, so that jobs begin to flow, money begins to circulate, credit becomes available, and people get back down to business. So in that sense, Deputy Boyd Barrett, you seem to suggest that we should be in the same place as Greece. We're not. In a very different place. And the people of Greece actually have an enormous challenge in front of them until 2024 and beyond. I'm quite sure you don't want our constituents to have to deal with that level of challenge that they face. I agree with you when you say, when you make a comment about lifting the level of debt off our people. That's exactly why we're in discussions with the Council, European Council, and with the ECB on the other side. It leads me into Deputy Higgins's comments about his musical background, whether it be Born a Shráide or whatever. It wasn't an alleged intention at all Deputy Higgins, it was actually a decision taken for the first time to break the link between sovereign and bank debt, and that was a seismic shift in European politics because it was never done before, and those who said it could never happen didn't have much to comment about afterwards. After the seismic shifts occur, tsunamis oftentimes take place, and where the level where the value for the Irish taxpayer, for the Irish person, is really in translating that decision into reality, in reducing the scale of the debt challenge that we face. And that has to come on two fronts, Deputy Higgins. One is following through with the Euro group arising from the decision of the European Council, and the other is in respect of the promissory notes dealing with the former Anglo-Irish Bank with the European Central Bank, which I dealt with for Deputy MacDonald earlier on. So they're the twin objectives of government, and let me assure you that there is a great deal of real conversation going on here, and I hope we can bring about a conclusion to that in the shortest possible time. I've set dates for one. Obviously the other is a work in progress on a longer term.
Thank you. That completes